Hey, everybody, welcome back. If part one of this series had you saying, "Oh my gosh, that's me," then you're going to love where we're going today. Last time, we unpacked what's really happening in your body during perimenopause and menopause. And now it's time to talk about how to feel better. Because, yes, this is a season of massive change, but it doesn't have to be one of silent suffering. You're allowed to feel good again. You're allowed to ask for more. You're allowed to advocate for your well being. I'm Jody Silverman, your midlife wingwoman and podcast host of Beyond Empty Nest. And in this part two of our powerful conversation, menopause health coach Ashley Basilio is back to guide us through how to sort through hormone therapy, lifestyle changes, and conflicting advice, what you can do about sleep, weight gain, and even intimacy changes, and why midlife might just be the start of your most empowered chapter yet. Ashley brings the science, the solutions, and the soul you need right now. And if you're ready to stop just getting through it and start thriving, be sure to grab the Self Talk Cleanup Challenge in the show notes. It's a 7 day reset for your inner voice, and it's a game changer for every woman navigating midlife. Let's get to it because this is your time. Hey, Ashley, welcome back.
Hi, thanks for having me back, Jody. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, so great conversation in part one. And for anybody who missed it, we will link part one into the show notes as well.
Great.
But last time we talked about what's happening during menopause. Today we're focusing on how to feel better. So why is this part of the conversation just as important as the first, in your opinion?
I think it's just as important because now that we know what's happening, it's logical to ask, well, is there anything we can do about it? And I always remember one of my favorite quotes. I used to watch Oprah with my mom, and Maya Angelou was on there one time. And I honestly, I think it's a Maya Angelou quote, but it might be an Oprah quote. And it was, when you know better, you do better.
Yes.
And that applies here too. So, menopause symptoms are not just in your head, they're real. And there are treatment options for you. And so you deserve to know what they are. And that is not vanity. That's not being selfish. That's just being a responsible woman and taking care of your health.
Yeah.
So, both hormonal and non hormonal options exist to help with symptoms and long term health. And so sometimes the best solution is a combination of both.
All right, so talk us through that because there are many options, right? There's many options to help us feel better. So where do we begin sorting through those treatments? And like what are they? Like lay it on us.
Yeah, I think it just can be overwhelming to think
Yeah.
about all of the information out there and all of the things you're experiencing
Mhm.
at once. But I think it really comes down to two very simple questions. What are your biggest symptoms or concerns? And what are you willing and able to do to make it better? So, like, for example, if your biggest symptom is your sleep disruptions, are you willing and able to take the TV out of your room? Are you willing and able to stop drinking
Um,
alcohol before bed? Are you willing and able to try hormone therapy? If your biggest issue is your weight gain, are you willing and able to change your food and eating habits? So just really getting clear on what's bothering you the most, what you're concerned about your health most and your well-being, and then figuring out what you can do on your own or with the help of your healthcare providers to help you feel better.
you
Like,
know,
so for me, for example, my first symptom was sleep. Even before my periods became irregular, I was not able to fall asleep at night or stay asleep. And I needed to nap for hours every day. And this just went on for years, like nearly 10 years.
wow.
And I would always bring it up at every physical. Every GYN appointment, multiple psychologists, psychiatrists. I saw two sleep specialists. I went to three different GYNs. I was willing to and tried everything, all the sleep hygiene stuff. And I actually declined hormone therapy for 2 years before I said I'd give it a try. And I did try it earlier this year. I started hormone therapy and it has worked for me. It's the first time in my life that I can remember that I've been able to improve my sleep. So I personally am an advocate for combining HRT with lifestyle changes, assuming that a woman is a good candidate
Right.
for hormone therapy and willing and able to make lifestyle changes.
Well, that two things. One, always consult your medical professional before doing anything.
Right.
But you said something really, the willing and able. The willing and
Mhm.
able, and a mindset comes into play for that.
Yeah.
Willing and able, because you know what? If I would challenge a woman right now to think about when we say we want something, but we don't get it because we're not doing or taking action on the things that could help us get what we want, then you have to
Yeah.
really ask yourself, do you want that? I was at a conference, women's conference once, and the speaker had us write down what is the number one goal we have for our business. And then she said, I want you to ask yourself this question. What are you willing to do to get the outcome that you desire? And that's what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I think a lot of women have, I know we're going into a mindset thing and we're taking a little detour, but I think it's really important because the mindset of, I think there's a lot of mindset of resent. Yeah, we get angry that,
Hmm.
well, why do I have to give up a glass
Yeah.
of wine at night? Or why do I have to turn off my TV? Like they get angry that we have to give up something and maybe flip the script that you don't have to give it up. Maybe it's just a pause. Like I have something going on right now physically, and I spoke to my doctor. I'm like, so would not having any alcohol for 2 weeks be something that might like benefit me? She goes, well, we could try it and see if it works, but I didn't. I'm like, tell me to do it, I'll do it. Like, what's 2 weeks of
Right.
my life? I can do anything for 2 weeks. So
Yeah.
it
And
really
I
does come to
think
mindset.
it does. And just like we talked about, in the first episode, that there is no one unique experience, or there is no one, experience of menopause that is common for every woman. Everyone's experience is unique. I think that's why it's worth trying some of these things. And,
Yeah.
and just a long laundry list of like sleep hygiene things that you can try, for example. And if they try and they work for you and you're willing to stick with it, great. If
Yeah.
not, how bad is your sleep problem? How bad do you want it fixed?
Yeah, and sleep is a big one for a lot of women.
Yeah.
I have a friend that just like you, she's tried everything. And she finally, I think, I don't know, I'm not going to share what she did finally, but she's sleeping like you. And I can't imagine never sleeping for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. So
Yeah.
good for you for figuring it out.
Thank you.
So
I'm
you did
grateful.
mention hormone therapy. You mentioned hormone therapy. And just the two words hormone therapy can create a lot of emotion in women, and it can be confusing and scary because we don't know what we don't know. We hear things on the news and we might not have
Right.
done our own research, especially, after past studies have made the headlines like they have. So what's the real story that women need to know about hormone therapy?
Right. And I'll just refer to this as HRT, hormone replacement therapy, but
Okay.
it means the same thing. But
Okay, no, that's
yeah,
good.
so what caused widespread panic is what's called the Women's Health Initiative Study, WHI, and it was
Yes.
begun in 1998, and it was meant to be multiple years long, maybe up to 8 to 10 year long study, but it was stopped prematurely in 4 years because there were claims made that HRT increased the risk of breast cancer, stroke, and heart disease. And so the media went crazy. Doctors and women were scared. Prescriptions stopped. Basically, pharmaceutical companies stopped making the drugs. Women threw their pills in the trash. But it turns out that after analysis, that study was inadequately designed, evaluated, and reported. So let me just tell you what the study actually found. So that study back in 1998 used older synthetic hormones versus bioidentical hormones, which are prescribed today. Also, the women who took part in the study were all way past menopause. So their average age was 63. And we know the average age of menopause in the US is 51. So on average, they were much older.
Interesting.
The study also did not exclude participants who already had a predisposition to breast cancer or heart disease. And after all that being said, the increase that was reported is very, very tiny. It was an increase of 0.6%. So
Yeah.
that's 0.6%. So what experts are now saying is that HRT is the best treatment for menopause symptoms when used in perimenopause or within 10 years post-menopause. So yes, it can be prescribed if you're older than 60, 61, but special cases, right? So it's most effective in the earlier years. In over 30 clinical trials since then, it's showed a 39% reduction in all-cause mortality for women in menopause. Bioidentical hormones are FDA approved, and there are safer ways to take them. So, like you mentioned in the conversation with your friends about the patch versus the gel versus the pill, any transdermal type of application lowers the risk of blood clots because it bypasses the liver. And then, so importantly, HRT protects long-term brain health, heart health, and bone health, and the risks of those diseases. So as I said earlier, I am an advocate for HRT for the right woman, but I understand that not everyone's a candidate, and
Right.
especially those with estrogen dependent cancers or other contraindications. And I understand that every woman who is a candidate might not choose to take HRT.
Yeah.
But it is a fact that many women could benefit, and women do deserve to know that it's an option for them.
Yeah, and the HRT can help with all of what we talked about before, about sleep disruption, weight gain, can and all of it can help
Right.
possibly positively impact many of those symptoms that are on that list of 34 we spoke about in part
That's
one,
right.
right? Yeah. So thank you for sharing that. I did see a
Yeah.
report a couple years ago when it came out that it was safe, and I'm going to use my own words, I'm an ad lib, that it was like hysteria.
Yes.
And they were so loud and they were hysterical about it. But then when they found that it was not the case, they're not as loud about the change, that it's okay. HRT is okay for the right woman. Talk to your doctor about it. They're not as loud and vocal about that.
I know, but
Changing.
they're getting louder. I
Good.
feel the
Okay.
swell.
Okay.
I feel
Yeah.
the swell. So
It's
I
because
think,
we deserve to, everybody deserves to feel better. There's no reason that you
right.
need to live a life of discomfort and pain, no matter what it is, whether it's
No,
menopause or anything. There's no
that's right.
reason. No reason.
No,
No.
you're right.
I'm like, oh, I'm getting on my soapbox. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't get me fired up, Ashley. No, thank you for explaining that. That
Sure.
really helped. So let's go back. There are lifestyle shifts that we all can make. Sleep disruption is one of the biggest complaints. We already touched on that. Another common struggle is weight gain.
Yeah.
Another common struggle is pelvic health and intimacy. Specifically, it could be vaginal dryness or painful sex, or maybe even like a low libido. What talk through some of the lifestyle shifts or practical steps that women can take when it comes to each one of those.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I touched on sleep a little bit because it's just so near and dear to my
Well,
heart,
it's a
but
big one for so
yeah.
many people I know. Like I joke that we could all have a party at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Like all my friends,
Right.
we could all get together on Zoom at 3 a.m. and have a party.
We could. So what's happening is just the drop in estrogen and progesterone affects our body's temperature regulation, airway tone, melatonin production. It all leads to troubles falling and staying asleep, and even anxiety about going to bed. So and you probably already know this. I think you said this earlier, Jody, but it's true. Like if when your sleep is not good, nothing's good.
No.
Like everything is so much bigger of a problem. So yes, there's several natural ways you can do to improve sleep, or you can try anyway. And I call that sleep hygiene. It's referred to as sleep hygiene.
Yeah.
So some easy ones are like cooling sheets or 100% cotton sheets, a dark, cool, quiet bedroom, breathable, layered pajamas for easy removal if you get
Yeah.
hot, lightweight blankets layered, and daylight and exercise. And then there are some that definitely will improve your sleep. But what I found is again about that willing to do or, able to do. And so no alcohol 4 hours before bed, no caffeine after lunch, no scrolling phones or watching TV in bed, no intense conversations or murder shows. And I'm guilty of that one. My hand's up right now. I love a good Dateline episode.
Yeah.
More,
Okay. All right.
okay. But it does affect my sleep, if I'm watching it right before bed. So I, I tried all those things for many years, and it actually wasn't until I was prescribed progesterone that, along with an estrogen, that I finally did sleep better. But yeah,
Okay. Well, what about our
weight
metabolism?
Yeah, weight, I mean,
Which,
weight
which, which,
gain.
which I don't even know. Hello, do you know that there's a metabolism in you somewhere? Like,
Where is it? Can't find it.
yeah,
Yeah.
what happened to you? You're asleep. No, my metabolism had no problem sleeping. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I mean the struggle is real, right? So like I mean I my hands up with this one too, but
I know.
so the truth is menopause doesn't actually cause weight gain, but it makes it so much easier to gain weight, especially around the belly area, and it makes it so much harder to lose weight. So
It's
like
such a
all the
gift to be a woman. Yeah, go
it is so many opportunity. We call them opportunities. Yeah.
ahead.
So yeah, all the advice we were given in our 20s and 30s about the calories in, calories out equation is, it's not quite true anymore. I mean, part of it is true, but the changing hormones just play such an important
Yeah.
factor. Um, and the changing hormones causes fat to accumulate in the belly area and the stress cortisol hormone to increase and slow metabolism. So I think the most important thing that women can do is remember to eat to be strong, not skinny. Okay.
Oh,
So we want to substitute that skinny word with strong. So any kind of extreme calorie restriction to lose weight is very, very dangerous because you don't only lose fat, you will lose muscle. And we just cannot afford to lose muscle
no,
in midlife.
no.
Um,
Eat to be strong, not to
Eat
be
to be
skinny.
strong, not
Yeah.
skinny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah.
so strength training helps your metabolism. Increasing your daily movement outside of workouts, like
Yeah.
walking, that kind of thing, and then really your diet.
And
Eating
water.
foods that are what's called nutrient dense. So that's lots of nutrients per total calories, like lean protein, fiber, healthy fat, vegetable, fruit, fish. Um, but I have to say this about weight and an identity. I really want to make
Yes.
this point is that um, I really encourage women to accept and appreciate the body that you have today. So you've earned your stripes, you've survived and thrived to get to where you are today, and you're worthy of love, respect, and care. So, try to forget whatever number is in your head that you want to appear on that scale or what you think you should look like, what you think you should weigh, and instead lean into your current self and your current life.
Okay, so if we just took that part, I'm going to have my editor just take that part and replay that over and over again on social media, Ashley. That was such an important message. You said it
Oh, good.
so eloquently. You said it,
Oh,
you were so full of compassion when you said it.
oh,
It's so,
good.
because it's the hardest thing for us just to be like, you know what? This body has gotten me to the age 59. I've given birth to two children. I've done
Yeah,
X, Y, and Z. Like, okay, like be kind to it. So
yeah.
I love
Oh,
that.
good. Okay,
Yeah,
great,
thank you for
great.
that. We needed to hear
Yeah.
that. We needed to hear
Okay.
that. All right. So two other things I just want to touch on, because this is a big one. I did do years ago. Oh my God, pre-pandemic, I had a different show called In the Nest with Jody, and I did a pelvic floor series with a pelvic floor therapist.
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I should bring that back. But so pelvic health and intimacy are often not talked about. Like most, now my girl night out, we talk about everything now. Now we talk about it all. But we didn't always because who wants to tell somebody like does sex hurt you? Like is something wrong with me because
Yeah.
sex hurts? Um, and so so let's start with that without diving into the last one because the last one's a big one and it's something you and I know about community. But how any thoughts or suggestions for women to navigate the physical and emotion changes in the area of pelvic health and intimacy?
Yeah, I mean, what's happening is that estrogen is key for maintaining the thickness and elasticity of the vaginal walls. And so when it declines, the vagina just becomes much more fragile, thin, and dry, increased irritation, as you mentioned, increased likelihood of urinary infections, and it can make sexual contact really uncomfortable, even painful.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of shame and guilt and embarrassment that goes around with that, and so like it's difficult for women to talk about, even with their most trusted healthcare providers. So, my first recommendation here, because it's accessible, is lube, and used generously, use often, even when not having sex, just to keep moisture in the vaginal area. The next thing that I want to make really, really clear is that vaginal estrogen is safe for women. And unlike systemic estrogen, meaning estrogen taken through a pill or transdermally, Vaginal estrogen is local and it acts only on the vaginal tissue to restore it. So, I mean, you're right. This can be a really emotional and private issue. And when sex becomes painful, we want to avoid it. And so then, that can lead to friction in
Yep.
relationships. And so we have to remember, though, that men have had Viagra for decades.
Yes.
And
They
there
have their
is
own menopause.
yes, they go through their own thing. And when they go through something or go through changes, they yell and scream and they get what they want. And there's care available for women too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
my advice for women going through these symptoms, and they're called GUI or genitourinary symptoms of menopause,
Okay.
all the stuff we just talked about in the pelvic area, is to have honest conversations with your partner. Tell them what you're experiencing so they don't jump to their own conclusions. And I think you can work together to schedule intimacy and reset expectations, maybe, if it's affecting your relationship.
So I love that you said that. I'm going to get really vulnerable and I'm going to share because that's what I do because I think somebody has to start. My issues with a decrease in libido and vaginal dryness wasn't perimenopause. I
Oh,
didn't know. It was early on. Maybe it was not postmenopause. It was, I remember, I didn't know what it was. I didn't know it was wrong. I thought something was wrong with me. And I
yeah.
remember like I wasn't telling my husband what was going on with me. And I would like make a comment like, "Oh, I'm so tired. I just go to bed." And finally, I said, "This feels awful to me. He's going to think I don't love him anymore." And I
Right.
love my husband. I think my husband. I look at him. I'm like, "Oh, I get butterflies every time I see him because he's so handsome to me." And I remember saying to him, I have to talk to you about something." And he's like, "What?" I'm like, "I love you. I find you very sexy and appealing, but I want nothing to do with sex." And I just said it.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't know what's going on with me, but it hurts. It doesn't feel good. And I look at you and I want to kiss you and I want to cuddle, but after that, I don't want anything else. And I don't know
Yeah.
why. And you know what? He's like, okay, so I'll kiss and cuddle. And if and when it changes, just tap and say, okay, we can do it now. Let me know. And after I said that to him, I was able to bring it up to my OBGYN and he helped me.
That is a beautiful story. And I'm so glad you shared it
Yeah, I
because
had
I
to. I'm like,
think,
I love this man. And he's thinking, I'm like, I'm getting in bed. I'm saying all those things like, oh, my head hurts. Oh, like in hopes he gets the hint, like, don't touch me, which is not
yeah.
in the, I'm like, no. So I told him, I go, I love you. I find you sexy. And yet I want nothing to do with the sex part. I want to kiss you. I want you to hold me, but I want anything else right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well,
it's
I'm
not easy. It was hard.
no,
Yeah.
it is hard, but I mean, what a beautiful moment that you shared there, and you allowed him in, and you were able to have an honest conversation, and he turned around and supported you,
Yeah. He just said,
and
okay.
so I would encourage every woman who's going through that. I've been there too. My hand is up here too.
Yeah.
To go have that vulnerable, honest conversation because when we don't know what's going on with our partner, we start developing stories of our own,
Yes.
and that can become a real area of friction.
And that, that leads to all relationships, right? All
Yeah.
relationships in this season of life, because with your partner, with your friends, with your coworkers, it's so important to keep those relationships strong and healthy, to find them in your life. And I just want to throw this out because I know Ashley has community. She's not just a menopause expert health coach. And sharing and coming on and just sharing. She actually has a community that you can join and be part of so that you're surrounded by other like-minded women all going through what you're going through. And then you have this leader in Ashley supporting you through it. So I know that you know that the power of community. And I know with my Moms Who Dare, my Dare On membership community, same thing. Our community is all about rediscovering purpose, fun, and fulfillment. And yours is around our health and well-being, and as a byproduct through fulfillment. So
Right. Yes. And you have a beautiful space as well. And I think, these spaces, it's important for women to seek that out,
yeah,
to avoid, feeling lonely. And I think, midlife can be a time where hormonal shifts impact our friendships, our romance, and even our relationships with ourselves.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
so yeah, I think, I have a son in college, right? And so for many years, every week I would see his friends' parents at all the things. We were together on the sidelines at the games. We were at the school events. And so they were my friends. I didn't have time for anything else. And now he's gone off to school. I don't see those people anymore.
Right.
So
It happens.
it feels lonely. I feel disconnected. And I think women need to realize that friendships are not a luxury. It's not, we shouldn't be looking at other women saying, oh, must be nice. She has actual friends. No, you need friends. We all need friends.
Yeah.
And we see a lot in the media about how, we should be giving ourselves permission to say no. Yeah, that's true. It is okay to say no to overcommitments or things you don't really want to do or people you don't really like to spend time with. But I think it's also important once in a while to say
Yes.
yes. Yeah,
Yes.
you can't always say no. We have to make the time to nurture and maintain friendships because they are our support.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wrote a blog article. It's actually on my website called "You're the 5 people you spend the most time with."
Yes, you
And if
are.
you think about that, if you think about who are your 5 people, are they people who lift you up? Are they people who challenge you, support, celebrate you? Or are any of them people who drag you down and gossip about others or minimize you?
Yeah.
So take inventory.
Yeah.
Who are the 5 people and who are those the 5 people you want, right?
Yep.
Um,
I like that.
but
Definitely take inventory. I call it doing a relationship audit.
there you go. Exactly. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. That's right. And
Yeah.
finally, I have to say, like, your connection with yourself is your most important relationship
Yes.
that you'll ever have. So I know I said, say yes to the coffee date, say yes to this in
Yeah.
relationships, but it's also necessary to spend time alone figuring out, what you really want for yourself in your second adulthood.
Yep. Yep. It's true. It's true. All right. So final words of encouragement to our listeners who who what would you say to them? Because menopause can feel like an ending, right? It can feel like the ending of something, but you position it as a new beginning. So, what are your final words of encouragement for the women listening to what the possibilities could be in this stage?
Well, my final words of encouragement, glad you asked. I would just say, if you're struggling in midlife with symptoms that bring you down, to reach out and get help and have that trusted conversation. I mean, that was our first dare and our first talk, right?
Yep.
And know that help's available. And don't stop until you get it. I mean, you mentioned that, right? Find a new provider if your provider is brushing you off. You're going to hear and read all kinds of things in this phase of life. And so I encourage women to do their own research from reputable sources, understand the difference between a coach and an influencer. And
Oh,
and
big
and
difference.
big difference. Yeah. And be informed and make decisions that are right for you. I think menopause and midlife can be the most powerful, liberating phase of your life if you let it. And no, it doesn't mean like trying to feel like your old self again. You may never be that person again. You don't need to be that person again. You don't need to look like or act like or feel like your old self. You can become someone new.
Yep.
So I would say let go of expectations, let go of old roles, limitations, and live forward. And you know what they say about aging, right? They say aging is a privilege. Well, it is if you consider the alternative.
Yeah, which is not
Yeah.
good. So, yeah. So,
Yeah. So
okay.
you will never, lastly, I'll say, you will never be as young as you are today.
I love
Tomorrow,
that.
yeah, you will never be any younger than you are today. And so what you do today matters. And as I say on my show, menopause is not a pause, it's power.
Oh, oh, who are you? We got
Yeah.
so many good quotes from you. All right, so I like that. Menopause is not it's power.
It's
Yay.
power.
I love
Yeah.
that. Okay, so those final words lead into the dare you have for our listeners today. So what is the dare, the challenge for the woman today?
Okay, so today's dare is a self advocacy dare. Okay. And so, based on what you heard today, I dare you to schedule an appointment with your doctor or healthcare provider to discuss your symptoms and your treatment options. And so, this dare is about taking the first brave step toward feeling better and advocating for your own health. And self advocacy is essential. So, to a great extent, let this be a place of empowerment, right? So you are in charge of your future. No, that doesn't mean you control your future and everything happens to you, but you're in charge of how you react to what's happening to
Yeah.
you now. And I'd like just to add a little bit more to that dare. I know
Yeah.
we talked about it before,
Go
but
ahead.
if when you take this dare and you go to this appointment and you find yourself with a provider that is uninformed or blows you off or makes you feel like you're crazy, the second part of that dare is to find a new provider. And you might be thinking right now, I already know that's going to happen, or I don't even have a doctor to go to. And so I want to give you a resource. Menopause.org is the Menopause Society. And there's a little button on the top of that website that you can search on your physical location and find a certified provider in your area. This is a great starting point because the providers who are listed on this site have been qualified to be listed on this site, meaning they have that extra education in menopause that your standard GYN may or may not have.
Love that. We will link that in the show notes as well.
Great.
And then, so that's a great dare, your self-advocacy dare. And then you do have a resource for everybody. You have a resource. We're going to put
Good.
so many links below. We're going to link to part one. We're going to link to menopause.org.
.org.
And then we're going to link to your resource, which is what, Ashley?
Yes. Oh, thank you. They're going to be clicking, Jody.
Yeah, click, click,
So
click away.
click away. Yeah. So you can find my free resource at getfitwithashley.com. And it is a 5-page PDF that is loaded with ways that you can feel better in midlife. So there's real concrete advice, examples, and data in there about what's happening to you and how to feel better.
I love that. And that will keep you in contact with Ashley. And I will also be sure to link to the Dare On community if you're looking for a community. And just so you know, right now there is a Facebook group out there called Moms Who Dare. Come over. Let us start there. Ashley's in there too. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of links below. So take your time, click away, but click away. All right, Ashley, thank you so much. This was such an important series to do on menopause. So much good information was shared. If you want more accurate, valuable, impactful information, you will want to contact Ashley. Follow her, find her, grab her resource, and let us know what was it that you learned from these 2 episodes. If this really landed with you, and I know it did, please share in the form of a review or shoot me a message and let me know what was it that you took away from one of these, either part 1 or part 2 of our menopause series. I want to hear from you. And as I always say, dare on.